Good afternoon. These are the Chiricahua Mountains, and those are some of the rock formations that give this area its name, Heart of Rocks. And I'm going to stop here to talk a little anime. Chiricahua. Chiricahua Geo Armor, or Kishin Heidan, is a retro sci-fi mecha anime OVA series. It was released in North America by Pioneer, first on Laserdisc and later on DVD, though it's now out of print on both. Kishin Heidan was created in Japan in 1993, the heyday of the Japanese OVA market, and it came out a year after Giant Robo. In many ways, Pioneer's attempt to recreate a similar retro robot action series, though not as successfully, I think. Chiricahua is initially set in the late 1930s and extends into World War II. The Nazis control Germany and the Japanese Kanto Army controls Manchuria, which is where the story begins. That's about where historical accuracy ends, though, because we're about to bring in the retro sci-fi. Taishi is a young boy traveling across Manchuria by train with his parents, but the Kanto Army raids the train, led by the sinister-looking Colonel Shinkai, his Brutus muscle man, Sergeant Goto, and his sexy lieutenant, Fujishima. All three of them are looking for Taishi's parents, or more importantly, something Taishi's parents are carrying. Taishi tries to flee the Kanto Army raid, taking his father's secret briefcase with him, but just then aliens attack. Yes, aliens. These aliens are a rather strange breed. They drop out of the sky, they have a vaguely humanoid shape, and some human movement patterns, but they seem to use laser targeting system, and then they use Tommy guns to shoot their targets. Go figure that. That big robot called the Kishin belongs to the Kishin Corps, a group dedicated to fighting the aliens. They have three of these giant Kishin, named Thunder, Dragon, and Wind, and each is piloted by a different member of their merry band of alien fighters. There's feisty Barriejo, the gentle giant Daisaku, and the handsome Kimihiko. Eventually, Taishi gets tied up with this giant robot alien fighting Kishin Corps through the doctor Maria Braun, who tends his injuries after the attack on the train. Unfortunately, Maria has an evil twin, literally. Eva Braun is a former Nazi scientist now working with the Kanto Army. For some odd reason, no one ever tells Taishi about Eva, so he's always getting them confused, Maria with Eva, always to his detriment. And that makes absolutely no sense. If someone would just once say, "Hey, stupid, that's not Maria, that's her evil twin, Eva," well, so many of the plot's problems would be resolved on the spot. And since Ava's at the center of the Kanto Army's research on this secret MacGuffin everyone wants, well, we'll see her pretty often. The Kishin Corps also have an interest in that secret module Taishi has, and so the competition between the Kanto Army, the Kishin Corps, and the aliens for this module is on. This mysterious module changes hands several times over the course of the series. This piece of alien technology is apparently at the heart of the Earthlings' own Kishin weapons.
Doctor, there's no use struggling with it any longer. Take the module and let's get out of here.
But...
The Kishin Corps.
Kishin Corps isn't a bad exercise in rewriting history. I mean, it's got Nazis, giant robots, and aliens. What else could you want in an action story? Well, some slightly more entertaining characters, perhaps. Taishi is the central character, and he's appropriately energetic and reckless, and heroic for a kid hero. He's just not smart, and I guess I hate plots that depend on stupidity. Next most seen character is probably Ava. She makes a really bad initial first impression, but she's not only working for the Nazis, she shoots children. Kishin Dragon pilot Daisaku is probably the most likable of the Kishin Corps characters. He's a patient friend of Taishi's and a nice, genial big guy to boot. Kishin's leading scientist, apparently the creator of the Kishin, is Bill. He's a pretty annoying geek, and that goes beyond the nerd pocket pack to full nerd stereotype. Colonel Shinkai is appropriately evil and menacing as the leader of the Kanto Army's research team, although his evil seems a little cardboard. At least he has a deliciously sexy lieutenant in Fujishima. There are some things one is better off not thinking about, such as how the Kishin Corps can transport their giant Kishin Thunder on a giant train from Manchuria to Europe and back again without anyone apparently noticing or trying to drop bombs on it or anything. How do they make a surprise attack every time they launch one of their attacks from this huge train? It runs on tracks. The retro artwork isn't bad, and the animation is pretty good for an OVA of that period. Unfortunately, I can't help comparing Kishin Corps to the previous year's giant Robo retro series, despite obvious differences. My main complaint is that Kishin Corps, despite the outlandish premise, just doesn't seem to have enough fun with itself. It takes itself, well, a little too seriously and doesn't jump along fast enough. It should just embrace its retro absurdity and revel joyfully in it like Giant Robo did. For my taste, Kishin Corps rates a middling 3 stars. It's not the kind of thing that's likely to find a revival. Kishin Corps' 7 episodes run 4 hours on 2 DVDs, available in a single set from Pioneer if you can find it. I have to say their English dub leaves a lot to be desired. Thanks for listening.